Hi again. Thank you for coming and joining me yet again for part three of my series on social anxiety. And there will be four parts to this because I find it to be a really serious issue. This is something that has crippled people's social engagements, it's crippled people's desire to go out, to actually mix with people. And when they do, people sort of recoil into themselves and they're not quite being themselves and they're not demonstrating the best version of themselves, which has, of course, become something of a life coaching cliche, being the best version of yourself. But even so, it's absolutely true. And so I've given you 6 pointers already. The next three for today: firstly, take a breath. Now, you might say, well, that's what I'm doing all the time. That's why I live. Well, the physical symptoms of anxiety include an increased heart rate, your chest pounding, dizziness, muscle tension, all these things. But did you know that if you can actually regulate your heartbeat using your breathing, by using slow breathing? I use something called the 637 technique. The 637 technique. And so you breathe in through your nose to the count of six, literally, and then you hold it for the count of three, and then you breathe out through your mouth to the count of seven, like that. And even as I do that, I feel muscles in my rib cage, diaphragm actually starting to relax. And if you can do that about 10 times, it actually does have a significant effect on your heart rate. It has a significant effect on the way you see things, because you're allowing a little bit of time to pass. It takes a certain amount of time to do 10 of those 637 exercises. And so as time goes by, even if it's a matter of seconds or minutes, it actually starts to calm you down. And try doing that. That is a very, very real technique. I have used it. I found it incredibly helpful, because also you must remember, when you're anxious, your logic sensors in your brain are being completely overridden. It's much the same as when you're angry. And so that's why when you're angry, you do and say things that you don't usually mean. When you're anxious, it tends to be the same as well, because your brain is firing off in all different directions, and you're not being logical. And logic will actually dictate to you whether you should be anxious or not. And for most scenarios, there's nothing there that one should be anxious about. It's just your perception of what is going on. And breathing can actually cause a sense of calm, and it causes you to actually reevaluate the situation and say, hey, hold on a moment, I'm actually okay here. I'm safe here. The second one is act confidently. Now, that might sound like I'm asking you to fake it, be a fake. No, that's not what I'm asking at all. There are a lot of people that suffer from social phobias and shyness and so forth. But you can learn to be confident in the same way that you learn to ride a bike. Where you actually say to yourself, I'm really, really anxious about going down to the shops right now, but I have to go. And so I am going to smile, because when you smile, it informs the rest of your body that you're okay. And usually when you smile, it actually does relax you. And hold your head up high, because you've got no reason to bow your head and not look the world in the eye. You are an individual, a human being who has every right to exist as much as any other person does. I'm not talking about being arrogant and full of yourself. I'm talking about looking life in the eye, holding your head high, and walking in with confidence, confident steps. And the more you act confidently, the more people around you will act positively. People tend to act positively towards a confident person. An aggressive person also gets a certain response. Somebody that may be acting the fool will also get a certain response, and it won't be a positive one, because the way you act around people determines how they respond towards you. And so if you're walking confidently, if you're looking at people confidently, you'll get a confident response from people. Okay, that doesn't mean now be the class clown or be silly or something like that. No. It's called being assertive. Something that feels terrifying at first will gradually feel better every time. Assertive means I'm not making any apologies for the fact that I exist, the fact that I'm here. I'm a confident person. And then finally, find social situations and actually engage. That's actually making a conscious effort, and that means being brave. A conscious effort to be more social. Actively look for supportive social environments that can help you overcome your fears. Look for friendship groups that are not mocking you, that are not pulling you down. There are always going to be people that engage very positively with you. And they might not be the cool people. Who decides who's the cool people? And the cool people don't even decide who's the cool people. That's just a perception that other people have got. So finding a social situation that you are unfamiliar with, and like joining a club, for instance, joining a drama group, joining a book club, joining a church, joining a youth group, anything like that. A knitting circle, if that's your thing, you know. And I've known of people that have got involved in things like this, and suddenly their social circle has increased dramatically. And so I've said to you today that what you can do is breathe using the breathing technique, the 637 technique that I taught you. Also, being confident, put on that confident face. And the more you do that, the more you inform your body that you are confident, and the more your body will follow. Where your thoughts go, your body follows. And then finding social situations and engage with them. You know, there are various ways that you can start conversations, and maybe I'll do a separate talk on that and on actual conversation starting. And I've had the absolute joy of working with some young people recently, teaching them how to start a conversation, how to continue the conversation. Because of social media, I feel that sometimes conversation is a lost art. So thank you so much for joining me. Part 4 will be coming up in a couple of days, and I hope you have an absolutely wonderful time. Bye-bye.